If you can't take this from me, I don't think I can keep going. I said I've done it my way for the last 14 years, and this is where I'm at. So I noticed I had a problem with addiction when I was about 14 or 15. That's the first time I started to drink or to smoke cigarettes or to do things like that. Ended up dropping out of high school my junior year. Just kept kind of going down that path. I did methamphetamine for the first time when I was 17. Addiction's just a hard thing. You know, you think that you're making the decisions and the choices that you want because you're doing all the things that you want at the time, right? So I chose to do this, I chose to do that, but the one thing you couldn't choose to do was to quit doing it. I ran hard on the methamphetamine until I was 26 or 27. Got arrested several times throughout those years, in and out of jail quite a bit. And I remember as you're sitting in jail and you have the opportunity to kind of try to get your wits about you again and start sobering up 3 or 4 days into it, you kind of start to have a little bit of clarity coming back to you as to the things you've been doing. It weighs on you, and the fact that you haven't seen your family for a while, it weighs on you. And I remember this particular time, it was probably my 4th or 5th time that year, getting arrested. It was heavy one day, and so I was going to take a shower. That's the only place you get solitude in jail is in the shower. I remember sitting in the shower and thinking, this is rough. I don't know what I'm doing or why I'm doing it or how long I'm going to run like this. And so I said a prayer the first time as long as I can remember. It was a simple prayer. It was, Heavenly Father, I don't know how to change. If you can't take this from me, I don't think I can keep going. I said I've done it my way for the last 14 years, and this is where I'm at. I thought I got to get to know the Lord, whatever the Lord is, whoever He is, however that works. So I got a Book of Mormon, and I was just reading it here and there, nothing great. An incident popped off in the prison, and I got sent to 45 days of solitary confinement. And I thought, well, I've got nothing better to do for the next 45 days, so I took the Book of Mormon with me, and I started reading through it. And you come to the end of the book, and it asks you to ask the Lord, to ask if this book is true. And so I prayed about the Book of Mormon. And it's one of the very few times that I've actually got a confirmation before I even got off my knees. I knew that the Book of Mormon was true. I got out of solitary confinement a little bit later, and when you have a witness like that, you think, well, what do I got to do now, right? Where do I go from here? And I started making changes. And the rest of my time in prison was just that. It was reading books, reading good books. It was reading the Book of Mormon again. I read the Bible cover to cover. I just tried to immerse myself in those things that were good. And as I worked through federal prison, I learned more and more and more, and my testimony became stronger and stronger. And when I got out of prison, I could look back and know it was all worth it. That the Lord knew exactly what I needed at that time, even though I didn't. It seemed harder than it needed to be, but it was exactly what I needed. People ask me quite often, what's different, Nate? Why do you stay out of prison? Why do you stay out? Why don't you go back, right? And there's one simple truth, right? And that's that when I found the Lord in prison, I brought the Lord with me and I kept Him with me. And there's no doubt that there's things that I don't do, right? I kept myself from going to bars. I kept myself from doing those things, but that can't explain how for years I couldn't not smoke, I couldn't not drink, I couldn't not do any of those things, but yet somehow 3.5 years of prison, the truthfulness of the Book of Mormon and the truthfulness of the gospel of Jesus Christ, and somehow I don't have any desire, any care to drink or to smoke or to do those heavy drugs that I did for 12 to 14 years. The Lord took addiction from me, and I say it to this day. To me, it's a miracle. To other people, it might not look like that, but for me, it's a miracle.